Hello, and welcome to episode 168 of the Casual Try Hard podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm James.
And we're going pro, baby!
Ooh.
It's back!
In some form. Mostly the same form.
The Pro Tour is back!
Yeah. Back on the menu.
So
back in the saddle again.
We are going to talk about the organized play announcement.
Yeah. I think we had alluded to it in last week's episode that it was coming. And now we're going to break it down. Yeah. At least parts of it.
So if you've got any thoughts, you can get at us on social media. Just check the description for all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Also, if you're looking to support the show, we would appreciate it if you used our TCG Player affiliate link when you're picking up any singles. Just head on over to tcg.CasualTryHardMTG.com. Sign in like usual. Do your shopping like you normally would. Just by using that link to get there, you'll help support the show. Anything you purchase, we'll get a percentage of to help keep the show going. And if you want to support us a little bit more directly, you can do so at patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG. Patrons get access to our show notes, so you kind of get a sneak peek about what the show's about. You get to listen to an extra hour of us rambling every week in the pre-show. Patrons get some extra bonuses here or there. You get put on my mailing list for whenever I feel like sending some swag out. Probably sometime another week or two this month, I'll send some swag out to our patrons. So if you want to get in on that, head on over to patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG. Sign up, chip a couple bucks in, you get put on the list. Also, at some point, this kind of rolls into the next thing I wanted to talk about, is we're gonna start doing tournaments. I think we've got a test event that we're running this coming Saturday. It's April 9th. It'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you're interested, join our Discord. There's a link in the description and with all the social media stuff. Join in there. There's a room for the tournaments. This one I'm keeping private. I didn't open it up to the public because I kind of want to keep it small and, you know, at least till we have our feet under us, till we figure out what's going on. I'd like to keep it, you know, just our loyal listeners. It's going to be 60 card standard pauper, best of 3. Probably be a couple rounds. I'll send something out to the winner. It's not going to be anything huge, a little swag bag or something. But the reason I brought it up when I was talking about Patreon is because eventually, once we get this thing rolling, I'd like to send out some playmats to the winners. In order to do that, we're probably going to need to charge some sort of entry fee, and I think I'm going to link it to Patreon. Whether it's, you know, a monthly tournament for like a $5 Patreon and like subscription or whatever, just enough to cover the cost of the playmat, you know, if we get 8 people or so. And I think we're going to do it that way. But that's a little bit ways down the road after we figure out how to run these things and make sure people are having fun and it's a good event. So it's another reason to sign up for our Patreon, though. So make sure you check that out. And then I mentioned the tournament. And was there anything else about the tournament we had to talk about?
I don't know, but if you want an extra Patreon perk, I did discuss the deck I was building. If you listen to the pre-show, so you could get some inside information.
Yeah, I mentioned what mine was. I don't think I discussed it too much, but I mentioned what it was.
Yeah. So there's some inside information. Yeah. If you want to pay.
If you're looking to take us down.
If you're looking to take us down, there is some inside information. I built the deck in like 15 minutes. It seems solid.
That's probably great, right?
Probably great. Couldn't possibly have misbuilt it or anything. It is perfect.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, was there anything else about the tournament we had to talk about, or did that pretty much cover it?
I don't think.
Best of 3, like I said, standard pauper. Any card that is legal on Arena or has been printed in standard on Arena at common is going to be legal for this tournament. So if you go into like the filters and you click common and you click standard, those are your choices.
There you go.
Yep. 60 cards, 15 card sideboard, best of 3.
Yeah.
I think that does.
So yeah, it should be good. It should be a format that is fresh.
Yeah.
Let's say.
We're running it through MTG Melee.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep, that's the other part, is you have to sign up for an account over there. So it's mtgmelee.com, sign up for an account, and then head on over to our Discord, and in the tournament section, the details are spelled out there. You can either message me or email or post it up there, and I will add you to the tournament. Like I said, this one I kept private just for us, so eventually, I'm not going to mind opening them up to the general public. It's just kind of more exposure for the show, but at least until we figure out how to run these things, I'll keep them to just us, so it'll be fun.
Yep. We are going to figure this all out.
Yep.
And so we probably need to figure out this tournament stuff because there's organized play again. Yay! So they announced the new organized play system with a lovely pyramid-shaped infographic. Pyramids have no negative connotations.
Not at all.
It's not some sort of scheme or anything like that.
It's like an infinite energy device, right? That's what the pyramids are.
Yes. If I put an apple inside of it, it'll never rot.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the old system.
More or less. Actually, it's really similar to the old system.
With different names.
Yeah.
So
like parts of the old system are missing, but
yes,
for the most part, it's the old Pro Tour system.
Yes. So you've got your regional championship qualifiers.
Mm-hmm.
These are akin, if you're an old timer, to a PTQ.
I guess it would be like the old PTQs.
Well, the system we had last, right? What was the in-store event called?
The system we had last, I guess it was technically an in-store event, but it wasn't. It was only open to WPN premium stores, and they were like geo-locked. You could only run so many per region.
Okay.
It was like we went to one at Firefly.
Yeah, but it was like, and you were like the in-store event qualified you for the RPTQ.
No, the last system we had didn't have RPTQs.
Okay, the system I was thinking of was the one where in-store qualified you for an RPTQ.
Yeah, that's the old system.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So this has in-store event, which you can have. Would they say is it 3 a season at your store, or just
no? I think
1 a season.
I think you're allowed 1 per season, and a season, I don't believe, is per Pro Tour. I think the season is for the whole year. So, a single local store couldn't run an event for each Pro Tour during the year. You can only run 1.
Well, that seems not great, but
it gives the stores a chance to stagger them. You know what I mean? Work with your other local stores and not run them all for the same Pro Tour. Gives everybody a chance. I'm pretty sure that's what I had read.
So, anyway, if you win your store event,
mm-hmm.
that qualifies you for the regional championship.
Mm-hmm.
The regional championship, there are 3 of these a year.
Yep, 1 for each Pro Tour.
1 for each Pro Tour.
Per region.
And
Per region.
Per region. And these roughly seem like they are similar to GPs in what they hope the size to be.
Yeah. They're not going to be, just like the qualifiers aren't run by Wizards, they're run by your LGS. The championships are not going to be run by Wizards either. They're going to be run by a different tournament organizer for each region. In the US, it's Dreamhack is going to be running all of ours.
Yes.
But like I said, it's different for every region. So I know we got some listeners in the UK and in Canada, and I'm not sure who's running all your events, but it'll be somebody different.
Canada is face-to-face games.
Okay.
And they're good and big.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they were okay, Europe, fine. Middle East, okay, there's some countries that are Middle Eastern that are technically in the European Union, fine. The entire continent of Africa, 1 region.
Yeah,
1 region.
I mean, To be fair, I don't know how many Magic players we have in Africa.
Fair, but just like geographically speaking.
Yeah.
It's like
large area.
Huge. One company.
Yep.
Thank you. You guys got this, right?
Yep.
We do. Excellent. So we talked about this in the pre-show. Dreamhack is more aligned with like typically like more electronic games. God, I sounded like 1,000 years old right there. More video games. They like Hearthstone, Shadowverse, fighting games like Street Fighter and Tekken and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
They did do some arena events pre-pandemic.
Okay.
So they have not done as much. They haven't really done a lot of paper Magic, let's say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really don't know anything about them. I knew that there was a link to whatever their like tournament website was that came out in the article last week, but I hadn't even clicked on it until we were in our pre-show just now.
And apparently somewhere, they have they had a map. Jerry found it of what their shows are going to look like going forward.
Oh, really?
Like the layout of like how much floor space they're giving to these.
Oh.
But like we have like they already got the Dreamhack Magic Showdowns are gonna have stuff. So these are the regional championships, and like so they have like fun and casual events, artist alley, community focused vendors, 20K open events, command zone. So this very much is, what's it called?
Big GP.
GP.
Yep.
Kind of thing. So that's the regional championship, and they have the prize structure. And the thing to note is the regionals, the Pro Tour invites go down to 32. Always. But in the first year, they go down to 48.
Wow.
Because they're trying to like fill the Pro Tours up.
Yeah.
So, we were talking about perhaps attending the first DreamHack event. It might behoove us to qualify for the regional championship.
Yeah, I mean we'll see who's running events by us. I don't know that our LGS is even interested. I forwarded some information and I don't think anybody read it. So.
Yeah, but I mean you finished top 50, right? In that sealed event?
Oh yeah, I think I came in 30th.
Yeah, so like you would have qualified.
Yep.
In this system.
Yep.
So like we could run hot.
Sure.
So there we go. And then from the regional championship, I know we kind of like detoured there, but so you qualified somewhere, you qualified at a regional championship qualifier at an LGS. Then you have the regional championship, and then you have your the Pro Tours.
Yep.
So, and then at the very pinnacle, you have the World Championship, which you have to finish in the top 2 of a U.S. region. Depending on how big your region is, determines how many spots there are in that regional championship for Pro Tour invites and Worlds invites.
Gotcha.
So if you're in a smaller region, there are less invites given out.
You can qualify for Worlds from the championships also, not just the Pro Tour, right?
Yes. So if we were to go to Atlanta and you were to finish second, you would qualify for Worlds.
Yep. That's
right
cool.
Behind me finishing first, so we'd go as a team to Worlds.
If we come in first and second, I think we'd have to change the name of the show.
We'd have to just like, we're good.
We did it.
We Did It podcast.
Yeah.
Right. But then you can also qualify for Worlds from the Pro Tour. But Worlds used to be like 32 players.
Yeah.
Right?
I think they said this is going to be like 128.
Yeah. So it's going to be a bigger field.
Yep.
So this does have the feel of the old, of one of the old systems where it's like, I play a tournament, to plan another tournament to get to the Pro Tour.
Mm-hmm.
But while the regional championships are bigger than the old RPTQ, the old PTs,
way bigger.
Yeah, because it used to be you'd win your store level event.
Yep.
Right, and then that would get you to a tournament that, depending on like what region you were in, they would they could be anywhere from like 200 people to like 40 people.
For an RPTQ, you mean?
Yes.
So the couple that I played in were in North Carolina. I think they were both in Raleigh, which should be, I would think, like the East Coast, like Mid-Atlantic region, whatever. Like there's a whole bunch of Magic players here, probably a higher concentration than most places. I would think those would be some of the largest.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure both of them were 64 players.
Okay. I know there was talk of some really big ones.
I mean, there might have been.
And then there were also people that would like go to would fly to the Utah regional
where there's none
because there was like hardly anyone.
Yeah. The first RPTQ I played in was a team event, so there was obviously more players there. But I think it was 64 teams. And the single player one that I played on was 64 players.
Okay.
So
I thought that like Logan went to one that was like 80 or something, but whatever. These are going to be...
I don't know. I mean, that was the same one that I went to with the Noble Hierarch promo, and I'm pretty sure it was 64 players.
But these are going to be closer to seemingly like GP sized.
Yeah,
so
thousands of players.
500-600.
Yeah.
But, so it's not an open event like a GP. So you have to qualify to get to it. Hopefully, the Friday before the GP, or before the regional championships, hopefully they have some last chance qualifiers.
I'd imagine they would.
Right? But, the fact that they go down to like 32 is probably good. Right? Because like it would be awful if it was just top 8 like it used to be for a GP.
Right.
So, and then, Pro Tour is the Pro Tour. It seems like we're getting coverage for all of these things, which is good.
The Pro Tours we're getting coverage for, and Worlds we're getting coverage for. They mentioned on the stream that anything below the Pro Tour is up to the TO.
Gotcha.
So coverage would be up to Dreamhack. Prize support is up to Dreamhack. Wizards doesn't have a hand in anything below the Pro Tour.
Gotcha.
It's all farmed out to whatever tournament organizers taking control of your region.
Gotcha. So they kind of rebuilt the train. So the train used to be like you would get so many wins in one Pro Tour, which would queue you to the next Pro Tour, and so you could kind of keep chaining together the Pro Tours. So they have like...
There's 2 different ways to do it.
Yeah, so the first is the less complicated.
Yeah.
Get 10 wins at a PT, and you get an invite to your next PT. Congratulations, you did it.
Yep. Automatically.
And then what's the other more complicated way? I took the easy one.
Yeah. I wasn't even going to cover the other one because it probably doesn't relate to any of our listeners, including us. And if it does relate to you, I'm sure you already know how it works anyway.
Okay.
There's like a rolling points total with some maths involved that like counts your previous finishes at Pro Tours or something.
So you have, of your last 3 Pro Tours, I think they count only 2 of them, and they subtract your first 3 wins out. And then if you get to 39 match points across your 2 best Pro Tours out of your last 3, you get an invite to the next one.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so it's a little...
Yeah, to be honest, other than being excited for coverage of high-level Magic and, something to look forward to, a reason to be competitive, like an aspiration, Like I highly doubt I will ever qualify for Worlds, and I mean, there's an off chance that like you or I might get on the Pro Tour, but realistically, I'm just excited for the regional qualifiers and the regional championships. Like I'm pretty stoked for them to come back.
Again, hot as the sun. It could happen.
I mean, it could happen, but...
So you have something... I'm learning stuff in the show notes, which is always good.
Okay.
This Hall of Famers are invited to regionals?
Yeah, the regional championships. They still have to qualify for the Pro Tour, but they have an open invite to regional championships.
I do not like.
Yeah?
I feel like they should just go to the Pro Tour.
Well,
I think that what's going to happen is you're going to have people that should be in the Hall of Famers are going to miss the Pro Tour, or they're going to be like, let's say LSV, who might be of the mindset of like, I can do the Pro Tour 3 times a year because I want to qualify for Worlds. But what I can't do is have to qualify for the Pro Tour. Now, granted, in theory, he would qualify for his first Pro Tour, bang out 10 points, or 10 wins, and qualify for his next one, and just like have to avoid the regionals going forward.
Mm-hmm.
But like, he's definitely had some stinker Pro Tours.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
so, like,
doing it this way gets personalities like out and about and mingling with the public, though, which I think is kind of the point, because there aren't GPs anymore. Like, you used to go to a GP and be like, oh, there's LSV, or oh, there's Reed Duke. Like, if there's no reason for them to play because they just auto-qualify for every Pro Tour.
Yeah, I guess, and also, like, semi-selfishly, right, like, at least at the beginning, those are taking spots from people that would have otherwise qualified.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Could you imagine, how bummed someone would be if they finished 49th?
Right.
With like Reed Duke, LSV, and John Finkel in front of them? Yeah. They'd be like, oh man, like, if they were already pre-qualified. Because, if Reed Duke top 8'd GP, his invite would kind of cascade down to someone else.
Mm-hmm.
But in this way, like, it's not going to. So at least those first few, there's been some people that are bummed.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess you can't avoid that.
Yeah.
But I just kind of feel like they should be, like, they should just get to show up to the Pro Tour. But I see your point of, like, you're not going to have the people, like, you're not going to have Martin Yuza going to 45 GPs in a year.
Right.
Right, because there just aren't them. So, like, if this makes them go to the GP level event.
Yeah. There's kind of another part of this that I didn't put in the show notes, but we can kind of touch on. It was something that you mentioned when I was talking to you about this, like in our little private chat there. And you had mentioned that there's no like appearance fees or anything like that anymore, or travel stipends. That's not 100% true.
Okay.
Because I believe they said every Pro Tour pays out. Like every place at a Pro Tour plays out.
Mm-hmm. Well,
which is kind of an appearance fee. I mean, I know what you meant, but like,
so
there being a prize for everybody that makes it to the Pro Tour is kind of an appearance fee.
It is. I meant more along the lines of, not that it was like a super enjoyable life or an easy life, but like when you would read the old articles about like the life and times of Reed Duke, right? And he would like leave his house on like a Thursday or a Friday, show up to a tournament because he got $500 or $600 of an appearance fee or something, or whatever it was, right? Play the event, go home, and then do the same thing the next week, right? So he could like string together a meager existence, but an existence on, I can just show up to these events.
Right.
And like, Wizards is going to pay me to show up because I am a platinum level pro. And as a platinum level pro, they're going to give me so much money to go to the to the Pro Tour, right? And like that's gone.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like, I feel like they rebuilt the system for you and me.
Yes, for sure.
But they kind of tore down the system so that they could say, we don't have a system to get rid of the pro player, the pro club.
And
right?
I know you said that they rebuilt it for you and me. So it might be kind of selfish to say this because they did. But like, I think I'm fine with that.
I think so as well. Like, it negatively impacts the top 64 best Magic players in the world. Right? And of them, if you guys are honest with yourselves, you can name 20.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, it hurts those players that don't have the big name recognition, that, like, can't parlay their Magic success into, like, streaming income.
Right.
Right? So they can't, like...
they can't write articles anymore, so...
Yeah. The pro Magic lifestyle, which was, tough, and Wizards really didn't want to support. They tried to support it with the MPL and realized that wasn't, like, economically feasible.
Yeah, no, that was a dumpster fire.
So I feel like they took a lot of the money that was in the MPL and in appearance fees and all of these things and shifted it to prize money. So, right, like, you only really you paid based on results.
Yeah.
Which makes it so you or I can, like, we'll pay our bills, and if we were to win an event, we would, like, have extra money.
Right. Buy a new
but
deck.
if you're just trying to, like, be a Magic pro and pay your bills off of Magic, it's, like, way too high variance.
And like I said, I think that's probably fine and maybe for the best. Especially, I mean, I don't know how far down this rabbit hole you want to go, but one of the main gripes that we've had with Magic lately is that, like, all of the metagames get solved instantly. And part of that is the pros. Everybody is incentivized to write articles, break the meta, whatever. And if obviously this brings some reason to break the meta, but if some of that, if that lifestyle is gone where you're, like you said, making $500 showing up to an event every weekend and then supplementing your income with a little bit of streaming, 2-3 nights a week and maybe writing an article, and, like, that's how you pay your bills, like, that doesn't happen anymore. But all of those things, that person that shows up every weekend and, gets paid to be there and break the meta, and then gets paid to write articles on breaking the meta, and then also gets paid through exposure on your stream breaking the meta, like, a lot of that incentive isn't there anymore. So maybe it kind of slows that down a little bit.
I think it might not slow it down, but what I think it's going to do is it's going to reintroduce churn. Right?
I mean, realistically, that's all that we need is the churn back. And I think we've said that on the show before, too.
Yeah, so it's going to, like, because now if it's just, like, a race to get up the ladder, it's most of the time it's what is the best deck to ladder with.
Yeah.
Right? And there's no huge incentive to figure out what the counter to black-white control is when you can just play black-white control. Right?
Enjoy your 57% win rate or whatever, and
or higher, and then just, like, move on.
Yep.
And you've made it to Mythic, whatever, who cares? Right now, like, if, there's going to be the articles of, like, if I was playing a regional championship qualifier this weekend, this is what I would play and why. Right? Those are going to come back. This also is going to open up the door to, I wish I was better at computers, so I got it on the ground floor. But the idea of, like, there's going to be a market for, like, for articles again.
Yeah.
Right? This is where, all those Firestar City people just need to like go to arenadecklist.gg and start like writing articles for like ad revenue and clicks and like things like that, and just like pay themselves directly and not let Star City skim it off the top.
Right.
And just like come together and be like, yeah, we're banging out articles because now there's going to be a metagame every week. There's going to be like a best deck, and there's going to be cards that we need to change.
Yep.
So that's all going to come back, I think.
Yeah. There's also, this is kind of only half of the announcement, because sometime later in April, we're also going to get a digital, like, organized play announcement concerning Magic Online and Arena. And I believe they already said that there's going to be a path into this through the ladder, but also outside of the ladder. I think it was it the economy stream? They mentioned something about like the
events.
Like the challenge events or whatever.
Yeah,
are going to play a bigger role.
They definitely talked about doing having Arena fill in. And so like it's going to be very much a system where if you look at the pyramid, there's going to be Arena feeding you into like I think both the regional championships and maybe even just directly the Pro Tour. Right, so you're gonna be able to fill in, but
I mean it might feed into Worlds too. Like if there's some giant crossover event, whatever.
But what they're leaning into is that, hey, you qualified through Arena, you've got to play paper Magic. Right? Like, you got to know how to shuffle your cards, and you got to, like, remember your triggers. Like, you have to, like... They're funneling everything back to paper.
Oh, poor cookies.
After... he tweeted, like, I got to learn how to shuffle a deck. But where for the last few years, right, partly through necessity and partly through like desire, they were trying to funnel everything digital. And now they've realized that they need to go back to paper. And I would be like, if you were going to tell me that, hey, we're going to do these events, but, one of them each year is going to be like an Arena-only event, I'd be okay with that if we got like 2 paper events. But they just were like, no, we're going to just do all paper.
Yeah, which is awesome.
And I think part of it is that
Magic isn't an esport.
It doesn't, how do I want to say this? It's not that Magic's not an esport, right? It very well could be. I have no problem with the concept of Magic as an esport. The way they tried to get it to be an esport was very much bad.
Yeah.
Right? They like kind of like shot themselves in the foot with the whole like esports thing. But like they definitely could like make it an esport. But with Arena's limitations of standard and historic, and I guess now alchemy, right? Like it was too easy to get tired of these things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can only watch, like, standard for so long. And, like, the events were, like, all standard. So, like, I know limited does not have as good viewership as constructed. But at least, like, you got 3 rounds of limited.
Right.
Or 6 rounds of limited. As opposed to, here are like 15 rounds of like soul crushing Goldspan Dragon mirrors.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my gosh, like, can we break this up with anything else? No. Or like, oh, it's alchemy in historic. And it's like, oh, so it's like the same stupid cards from alchemy, but just with like some random slightly older cards around them. Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. Like, they didn't feel different enough.
Yeah.
Right? And I think people write this up like, Arena's kind of, like, sanitized in that, like, you don't have, like, the person that has, like, the crunchy old card or the quadruple sleeved taking turns deck.
Yeah, completely foiled.
Or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Whatever personality you would get from someone playing their deck. You don't get the
it makes for worse coverage.
Yeah, even me, Depths is no longer all foil, but everything's old border. This person made a decision. This was how they're gonna make their deck.
Yeah.
Right. And talking about that, or whatever weird ticks people play with.
Right. Also, kind of on the same note, I think one of the things that bothered me so much this might be old man yelling at the clouds boomer talk or whatever, but one of the things that bothered me about watching some of the event coverage that was done on Arena through the pandemic was Butt Farm 69 is playing against whatever. It's really hard to connect somebody to a person, you know what I mean?
I would have given any amount of money for Marshall to have to say Butt Fart 69 gets into the red zone.
You know what I mean, though?
Blaze at 420 doesn't block. Oh, the pump spell from Butt Fart. Oh! It would have been great. Okay. I think you should take it back. That is 100% a pro. If they had to go with whatever their gamer tag was.
Okay, so maybe that was a bad example saying Butt Farm 69, but you know what I mean, though? It's hard to equate I know who Reed Duke is, I know who LSV is, and realistically I know what their tag is anyway, but some of you had mentioned earlier, some of the lesser known players that kind of slip through the cracks, even though they might be top 64 in the world, you might not know their name. When they're not there and also aren't displaying their name on the screen, it kind of disassociates you from what's happening. This is just random guy with random gamer tag playing some Magic.
Yeah, or just the fact that you can only see so much from face cam.
Yeah.
Right? They you didn't get the shuffling of cards, or the pump fake tap untap kind of thing.
Right.
It was all just a little bit more it took the personality out of it.
Yeah.
So I do think that some of this, getting rid of the pro player club and stuff, I've talked about this before. I think Wizards is even more so, perhaps, depends on how they do their coverage, leaning into the NFL model of you're rooting for Magic cards, as opposed to the NBA / Star City model of we're building up personalities.
Yeah.
Right? Now, they could very much do their Pro Tour coverage where it's all about someone, right? But just the it just very much feels it's all about the Magic cards, right? Worlds being 128 players instead of 32, it's way less harder to build narratives.
Yeah.
Right? So I just feel it's very much they're leaning more into this to be promotional, perhaps, as opposed to
a sport.
Yeah, or brand build. They want to build the Magic brand, not so much the brand of players.
Wow, that's
which is fine. It's
kind of weird for them
dollars.
To be, delving into other IPs, yet at the same time be focused on building the Magic brand.
Yeah, true, but through this, it just seems they don't want to.
No, I know what you mean, and really that doesn't have anything to do with what you were saying, but it was just what popped into my head when you said that.
So,
and I guess all of that kind of depends on what your local tournament organizer does for coverage. Also, Wizards isn't requiring them to do coverage for anything that they're running at the championship or qualifier level, but that's up to whatever the tournament organizer is. I guess Dreamhack has done some coverage of their events, right? So there's nothing to say that they're not going to do coverage. Wizards didn't tell them not to do coverage. They're just not paying for coverage, I guess.
Yeah. Which, it's one of those things like, if you already have the infrastructure.
Right. Which they would if they're running, all of these esport events.
Exactly. You already have the infrastructure. You already have the semi full of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
To add a couple more cameras and some more stuff, isn't that big of a deal. Now, paying the people to actually do this stuff, that is a cost. But presumably, they at least think that they're going to be able to turn a profit.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be that, every time we went to an event, we left and we were like, how do they not make money hands over fist, right?
Yeah.
Or why aren't they doing more of these? It seems like they should be making a ton of money. Maybe Magic by itself is not economically viable for, big events like this.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got, all of the Street Fighter players in that area coming to the convention center, and all of the Dota 2 players.
Yeah.
And then all of the Magic players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you've rented this big convention hall. Maybe you filled it up enough.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Dreamhacks, there are tickets to Dreamhacks?
Yeah, I don't know how this works. I don't know if it's like a convention where you pay an entry fee and then you pay for every thing that you do, or if some number of entry tickets are baked into the cost of a convention ticket. I really don't know how it works. I've never done anything relating to Dreamhack, so.
Neither have I. So remember how I said, I hope there's last chance qualifiers?
Yeah.
Friday at the Dreamhack, last chance qualifiers.
Nice.
Sunday at Dreamhack, qualifiers for the next regional championship.
Oh, cool.
So they're getting you on the front end and the back end.
Yep. So one more, while we're talking about the championship level events, in our case, the Dreamhack events, these, I want to make a couple different points here. The first one is these are there's no Grand Prix anymore. So there's not a Grand Prix every weekend, in our case, all over the United States. Realistically, there's going to be one probably within driving distance of you that you could go to at some point during the year. That's not what these are. There will be 3 of these per year. Chances are you're going to have to travel to them. It's going to be a thing to get to one. Second part of that is if there's, you said 2 10Ks and
there are 2 10Ks.
The main event and last chance qualifiers and first chance qualifiers and command fests and whatever other events. I'm sure that there's just regular side events there as well. These things are going to be massive.
Yeah. So
are they is Dreamhack going to be equipped to, handle, what was the biggest Grand Prix that we went to? 2,600 players in the main event?
I think that was the Vegas one you went to? Or was that the ill-fated Charlotte one?
I think that was the Charlotte one.
The Charlotte one was huge.
Yeah. That was just in the main event, and that wasn't even the Vegas one was way bigger. But that wasn't even counting all the people there just for side events or just for the vendors or just for the cosplayers or whatever else was going on. If you're running, multiple really high level events and less of them per year, are 8,000 people going to show up to this thing? Are 10,000 people going to show up to this thing? On top of all of the other games that they're playing? I know when I was kind of browsing the website for this one and found this Dreamhack Atlanta, it is in the bigger convention center. It's in the World Congress Center, but how much of that center do they have to rent out? You know what I mean?
Well, I'll give you a sense here. I don't know about that, but so I'm looking at ticket prices.
Yeah.
So tickets go on sale in May.
Oh, okay. So next month.
Yep. So there's a festival pass, which is 24 hours, 3-day access, but they don't have the prices.
Yeah.
So there's a festival pass, a day pass, and then the festival premium, which is access to the premium registration line. This does not include security line. Everyone goes through that. A $35 voucher code for merch at the festival.
Ooh.
And a badge instead of a wristband. Ticket price includes taxes and fees and will be added during checkout, but it does not say what they are. But to like let you know kind of how different this is, they have bring your own computer events. So like you can bring your own computer to the event. And like the cosplay thing, it looks like there's a giant stage.
Yeah.
And they have people up on the stage in cosplay, not like just, Sprankle walking around getting harassed.
Right.
Right. But yeah, so I'm looking at like images from previous Dreamhack festivals with people with like their computers in like large rooms with like giant TVs.
Yeah.
Or giant screens like projecting games. Like this is gonna be a very different vibe.
Yeah. Well,
than
I was kind of expecting the vibe to be different because you're blending a whole bunch of like different nerd cultures all into one. So I was expecting it to be different, but I guess what I hadn't really like processed is how like gigantic this thing's gonna be.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be. There might just be a like magic. Like, Magic's going to be in a corner. You know what I mean?
I don't know if just Magic in a corner is big enough, though.
But what I mean is, as opposed to, like, GPs and Magic Fest, where it was like, this is the main thing you're here for.
Yeah.
Right? It seems like you could play a Magic event and then go get distracted and watch people play, like, pro-level Street Fighter for 3 hours.
And miss your next round.
And like wander back over, right?
Yeah.
But so it's gonna just have different stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they would tell me how much the tickets were.
Is there any like attendance information to like see how many people like normally show up to one of these?
Not that I've seen. I'm just on the Atlanta site. I know that they're saying that they are working on like putting in they're evaluating ticket caps for certain days and areas and entrance and exit for social distancing.
Yeah.
And apparently you have to go through a security check line.
Yeah.
Which they might take our snacks.
Oh man.
It might be like the Bergen Event Center and they just steal our snacks. So yeah, I wish I knew how much the tickets were. See here. Let's look up an average size of a Dreamhack.
Here we go. I haven't found any.
2019 attendance information. Of course not. Does not.
Yeah, I haven't found anything that gives like an approximation.
Yeah. This has apparently been going on for like, this company's been around for 28 years. I'd only heard of them like once or twice.
Yeah, it's completely new to me.
Okay, well, Dreamhack events are arranged with the help of about 800 volunteers.
Volunteers,
so that's way more than the judges we have.
Yeah, but if they're volunteers, they're not. I guess the judges weren't getting paid either. But
yeah, they're just handing them like random merch.
Yeah. Here's a new keyboard and some glow sticks. Go have fun.
Here we go. The last Dreamhack before COVID-19, Dreamhack Anaheim 2020. This is the one where like Teamer, whatever Adventures came from.
Yeah.
Had 15,000 people attend it.
Yeah.
And Dreamhack events total had 350,000 people in 2019.
Wow.
So like, are there 15,000 people that come to like a GP? No.
Well, right, but I mean, what we saw at a GP's was when there was one, like multiples a weekend sometimes.
Fair.
If there's 3 a year, how many people are going to show up?
True. I mean, there's also like, I don't know how, because people don't, what's it called? People who are just going to show up to like not play in the main event.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that had definitely changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if you get 5,000 Magic people on top of your normal 15,000 people,
right,
that you would expect to see at Dreamhack Anaheim, which Anaheim's in a much more populated area than Atlanta is. Sorry, Atlanta. Right? Like, if they got 15 to 20,000 people, and they're charging $100 a head for a ticket or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, sweet. Like, you did it. Like, they will make some money.
Well, I mean, I meant like more for space constraints.
Yeah, I guess I don't know how big
like if you're running, all of these other events and you're just expecting, however many people qualify for the championships plus, maybe a couple hundred for each of your 10Ks or whatever, and there ends up being 8,000 people because you're the only thing that's going to happen for an entire year in the Southeast.
Go to the Dreamhack Dallas site. They have the map of what they're going to have at that.
Okay.
And Magic is off in its own little world.
Oh, really?
Like it is the main stage. So I'm assuming you come in,
mm-hmm.
right? Cool. You come in. There's a food court. Yeah, so they're taking our snacks.
Yeah.
There's the Intel booth. There's an expo.
Yeah.
And a creator hub on one side. Then the other side has CSGO, Rocket League, and some stuff, Smash and other things, right?
Yeah.
And then there is the Magic area, which is smaller than all those areas.
Yeah, by a lot.
Then a free play area. So Magic at Dreamhack Dallas is all things related to tabletop. Okay. And then behind that is the bring your own computer area. Which I don't know how much I have to like my computer
to lug it around with you.
To bring it with me. But here we go. All right. Oh, wow. Okay. So, a festival pass in Dallas during the main wave, which saves up to 20%, is $94.
Well, I mean, that's the same price a GP was.
That gets you in the door. That doesn't get you registered for any events.
Oh.
So I'm assuming they make you pay to enter the events. Right? So it's $94 to go in, but if you're going to play a 10K, they're going to charge you $30.
Yeah.
Or whatever, right? So it's $94 to get in the door. Or if you get the premium pass, whatever for the premium registration line is, and a voucher for merch at the festival, ESL and Dreamhack merch store, and you get a badge, and apparently some special entrance. That was $194.
Okay.
Right. And if you want to bring your own computer to play Arena on, that's if you want to go ultra, $550.
Woo!
If you just want to bring your own computer and chill with not even the premium, just the regular is $130, then the premium is $295. So
interesting.
But yeah, it is wild. I couldn't imagine lugging my computer to a convention hall and then paying $550 for the pleasure of plugging it in.
Yeah.
It's like, can I just invite these nerds to my apartment and just save rent for the week?
Well, I mean, we have this whole internet thing. You can probably just stay home and play with the same nerds. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess we'll find out. And I guess like nothing in here says how much the events are going to cost either, right?
I did not see that in the. So I just jumped to the. Let's see. Cosplay creator artist esports expo tabletop apply today. So we have invited artists. RK Post.
Of course he's going to
be there.
Yeah.
He's never stayed home a day in his life.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done. Dana Fisher, the little girl who plays elves,
yeah,
is an invited influencer. Her and Cedric are the invited influencers.
Oh man,
we could be an influencer.
We could sign up.
Yeah. They do not say how much stuff is.
Yeah, I wonder.
And the vendors, like, are they gonna like? They might not even have cards.
Yeah, I don't know what MTG Pro Shop is.
Neither do I. I know what Coalesce Apparel is.
Yeah, I don't know what.
They didn't have what they wanted, so they made their own. I know Cedric. For a fact. Thanks, Cedric. Or Laughing Dragon, like.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either. So
we could be in a new world of like, if you want cards, you're just gonna have to use our affiliate link at TCG.CasualTryHardMTG.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
To get them in advance, because if you wait, I don't know if they're gonna have vendors.
Yeah.
Right? Like, Moose Loot is not on here.
Definitely not. I mean, Moose Loot might not exist anymore.
They might not. But like, yeah, this might be a time for like, this might definitely be the like, you need to settle on your deck like 2 weeks early, or like be honed in on a version of the deck.
Yeah.
And then
bring a 75 card extended sideboard.
Yes, bring a big box.
Yeah.
To make sure you've got that covered.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be driving around the greater Atlanta metro area Friday night looking for cards.
No, definitely not.
Like, where are the stores at? Oh my god, they're 5 hours apart. I've got to go to all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any near the World Congress Center. They're all like north of Atlanta.
Yeah. So at Dreamhack Dallas, there is a $10,000 open tournament, the Command Zone. Okay, there is a tournament voucher with badge purchase. That's good to know. All types of Commander events featuring stuff. Hourly casual tournaments, 8-person events all day.
Oh, so it sounds just like a GP. There's, on-demand whatevers and...
Mm-hmm. There's a prize wall, there's artists, there's vendors. But, again, their list of vendors, like, does not look like our normal list of... Oh, and it broadcasts top 8.
Oh.
Or, it says broadcast top 8, so I don't know if that's in the open tournament that they broadcast the top 8.
Maybe.
And then they have mini games and D&D signups. So, this is so this is interesting.
Yeah.
But they do have pictures of, I don't know, with this, there was someone who had a big stack of cards, but these aren't Magic cards in like one of their pictures. I was like, that looks like someone buying and selling cards, but I take it back in the weird picture. So, it'd be a different thing for sure. So I guess I'm a little excited. This veered from like OP to like the travel pod.
Well, I mean, it kind of shows like how much we miss going to GPs.
Yeah. So this came up in Discord and it got mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
These first tournaments are gonna be like have Pioneer in them.
Yeah.
You mentioned in Discord.
Yeah.
It might be a little late when this podcast comes out, but if there are some Pioneer staples that you want, now is the time.
Yes, for sure.
Right?
Like Pioneer, it never really got a chance to shine. Like it was in its infancy with weekly bannings to try and get the format settled out. And then we had, I think, 2 events and then a pro tour and then the world ended. Yes. So nobody, like Pioneer never really had the spotlight shown on it. It never had a chance to bloom. It never really had a chance for people to get interested. And on top of that, when the world ended, like the way people were engaging with their Magic sealed product and singles changed. So I don't know how many, like especially of the staples that have been printed in the last 2 years, or what are going to become staples. Like I don't know how much of that stuff is actually in people's collections. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how many boxes of, I don't know, like Zendikar did you open?
I've not opened a box of Magic cards since Ikoria.
Right. How many, like including drafts and, you know, pre-release and sealed and stuff, how many boxes of, I don't know,
let's say Theros.
Sure. How many boxes of Theros did you open?
Probably 5.
Yeah.
Because I probably bought 2 boxes, did like 4 sealed, so that's almost a box. Probably won a box.
Yeah.
Worth of Pride support from those sealeds.
And then random drafts.
Yeah, probably 4 to 5 boxes.
Yeah. So, and you know, I'm not saying that you're typical for every Magic player out there. I know like my habits were roughly the same and currently are roughly the same. I think I've opened a little bit more sealed product than you have through the pandemic, but like how many other people are in the same boat where, you know, you tried to grow your collection or maintain a collection or whatever while nobody was playing Magic, and now all of a sudden we've got a whole round of tournaments that are Pioneer that like nobody has the cardboard for.
Yeah, I mean and like just buying singles, sometimes you miss. Like I missed I still have my questions on whether if Fable of the Mirror Breaker is going to be playable in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
But it's playable right now.
Yeah,
and it's getting played in Modern. Yeah. And like they were like $1.
Yep.
And then in the last like week or two, it's like, oh, these are good. And they're going up and up and up.
Yep.
So, you know, there's going to be more stuff like that where it's going to be like, oh, I guess this is like a $10 card now.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, I don't know how much Hullbreaker horrors are.
Oh, I have
right,
no
but
idea.
there are
Meat Hook Massacre. Do you know how much Meat Hook
$70.
Yeah.
It is, I think Saffron Olive tweeted, it is the most expensive standard card since Jason Friend's Prodigy.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
right, like,
cards like that. Like if you're not already baked in, and you're interested in playing in some of these competitive events or just like Pioneer in general, it's about to have a giant spotlight shown on it. So you might want to pick up some of those staples before they get absurdly expensive.
Or the other thing to think about is like, is there like a deck that you enjoy that's in that like tier 2 to tier like 1.5 or like even tier 1? Like this might be the time if you've been on the fence about like, oh, should I get it? Is there be a reason for me to have a Pioneer deck? This is probably the time to just go like, you know what? I'm going to get it because there's going to be Pioneer happening for the next, you know, 6 months to a year for sure.
Yeah.
They're going to be doing this.
So
because,
well, go ahead.
You know, because like this is a format that, you know, the Wizards kind of forgot because it's not on Arena.
Right.
That they made because, you know, sadly they think they can monetize it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like they can put out like a Pioneer like Challenger deck or 4 every year going forward.
Yep.
And so, you know, there's just no reason for them not to grow this format.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think we have a ton more to talk about this episode. I think we're starting to wrap it up. We've talked about most of what I wanted to talk about. But we are talking about Pioneer right now, so I think now might be a decent time to talk about formats in general.
Okay.
I know they said that there's going to be Pioneer Standard and Modern. I don't know if they're just doing like seasons, like if we're going to have a Pioneer, like we're doing 3 Pro Tours a year and 3 championships a year. I don't know if like they're going to match up where the championship is Pioneer, the Pro Tour is also Pioneer, or if the championship is Modern, if the Pro Tour is also going to be Modern. I don't know if that's the case. So we might end up going back to like the old system where we had seasons. Like you knew all of the spring GPs or whatever were going to be Modern. You knew all of the fall events were going to be standard or, whatever. I don't know if we're going back to something like that where there's a focus put on like a specific format per part of year. Two things to note. There are no limited championships or Pro Tours. Although
there's going to be limited included in this first one, right?
Well, all of the Pro Tours are going to have limited included in them, but there's not going to be a specific limited Pro Tour.
Fair.
They're all going to be split formats like they used to be. So there'll be, some number of probably 3 limited rounds, like a draft each day or whatever, for the Pro Tour, just like there used to be, and then whatever the other format is. But none of the championships are going to be limited, and I don't believe any of the store level events are going to be limited either. I don't think that was an option.
Okay.
The other thing is that there's no legacy anywhere.
Yes. Unsurprising.
Yeah.
But not great.
Bummer, man.
So as I'm watching videos trying to figure out if I should spend $80 on mana bonds with nowhere to play them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like honestly, I don't even know if there's going to be legacy side events at these things.
I mean, they started getting rid of them at what's it called? At the GPs before, right? Those are the on-demand events that most frequently didn't fire.
Yeah, but they still had challenges. The challenges always fired.
Not at the last couple that we went to.
Really?
Yeah. Like they just had no legacy events, or they might have like one on the weekend.
Man, so is legacy just a digital format now?
Yeah, you want to win trade?
Yeah,
because that's what we do in Legacy
that's
now. That's what we do in Vintage.
Whole nother episode, buddy.
Yeah, but now if going back to our Dreamhack map,
mm-hmm.
if there is the free Pele area, right? I could definitely see a situation where like
people just post up with Legacy decks and say, "Hey, this is what we're doing."
Yeah. Right, because you could definitely see a situation where, like, an Anzid type person is like, hey, like, we're running an event here, or whatever. It's kind of going to be probably going to require you to, like, get into, like, the correct Discord or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? But
I mean, unless he can get hooked up with a store and, like, use event link somehow. But I don't know how feasible that is either.
Yeah, but just, I think there is going to be... It's not going to be something that's going to die.
Mm-hmm.
But it is very much a digital-only format now.
Yeah.
Which is sad. So sad. But I think there's a good chance that I'll be buying a ticket to DreamHack Atlanta.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
I'm excited for that.
I'll have to make sure I'm allowed to get out of the house with the small human.
Well, I don't want you to be uncomfortable either. So we'll see how the world is in a couple months. Although I guess if this one's already selling out, we might want to jump at Atlanta, kind of.
Well, that was my thought. Was
when is Dallas? Did it say?
June 5th, I think.
Yeah, June 3rd, 4th.
June
5th.
3rd to 5th. Yeah. So, yeah, I would rather... I don't know. I'd rather buy the ticket and then, change my mind.
Yeah.
Than, not buy the ticket and then want to go and then be like, oh, I'm boned. I can't go.
Yeah.
So, right? So, I'd rather do that. Hey, and if I win this award that I'm up for, I have money. I have DreamHack money.
There you go.
Yeah, buy myself a new TV and then go to DreamHack. Buy myself more Magic cards for the event.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I will have to we'll have to figure out how to test Pioneer.
Yeah, I mean, we can.
I guess that's called Magic Online.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's called Magic Online because they won't give it to us on Arena.
Yeah, come on, guys. But I will say, plug for Pioneer on Magic Online. It's dirt cheap.
Is it?
It is. So, now within reason, there are some cards that are just $40 for some reason, like the creature lands from stupid AFR, right?
Yeah.
But some of the decks that Saffron always played that aren't even budget decks are this is $25 on Magic Online.
Wow.
Yeah, they're tier or close to tier decks are super cheap.
I'll have to look into it.
Yeah,
I don't even know. I don't have any idea what the Pioneer metagame looks like. I have been so checked out of Pioneer.
I check in every so often, but I couldn't tell you right now what's going on.
Yeah.
But all right, if nothing else, we could go to Dreamhack and interact with a new batch of nerds.
More different nerds.
More different nerds.
Yep.
But so I think with all this, I think we have a show, right?
I think we have a show. It was kind of a weird show, but it was a show.
It was. We got hyped about Dreamhack.
Yeah. Was not expecting to go down that road.
No. But if you want to tell us where at Dreamhack you will meet us, you can get at us on social media. Just check the link below.
Yeah, Discord's a good way to do that. There's a link for our Discord down in the description, so make sure you hop in there and check it out. Also, don't forget about our TCG Player affiliate link. Like we just mentioned, a lot of these Pioneer cards I'm expecting are going to jump in price once people start focusing on the format. So if you're looking to get into Pioneer, head on over to tcg.casualtryhardmtg.com, sign in like normal, do your shopping, and you'll help support the show. If you want to support us a little bit more directly, you can go to patreon.com/casualtryhardmtg, sign up, chip in a couple bucks, and get put on our mailing list, get access to our pre-show, get access to our show notes. Maybe at some point we'll end up doing our tournaments, and you'll have access to those as well. Might as well get in now, right?
Yeah.
Avoid the lines.
Avoid the lines. Don't want those spots to sell out.
Yeah. And again, help support the show. We would really appreciate it. Our tournament this weekend, tomorrow, Saturday, I guess, depending on when you're listening to this. If you're interested, put together a 60-card standard pauper deck. Head on over to Discord, sign up for MTG Melee, shoot me your address, and we'll get you registered. I'm expecting it to be fun. So I'm hoping it goes smooth and successful, and we can keep doing these things. Maybe get a bunch of people involved and give away some swag. I'm not exactly sure what the prize for this one is, but I will send something to the winner, so you got that to look forward to.
Worst case is bragging rights, right?
No. Worst case will be whatever's sitting on my desk here, but there'll be some cool swag, I promise.
I mean, based on the pictures you sent earlier, it's a Black Lotus.
Yeah, maybe everybody at home can see this. My Black Lotus. Probably not going to the winner of this tournament, but yeah.
Probably not. Probably not. So with that, we'll catch you on the internet.
We'll catch you on the internets.